Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have been working on getting a good Works Cited page in our document. So I want to give you a screencast of that in case you missed it or in case you need to revisit it. Simply sending me a list of your URLs does not consist of making a Works Cited page. So let's take a look. We're in our Google Drive. We're going to create a new document. Probably we have Google Docs. Remember how we did that? You want to make sure that you title your document properly. You're going to make sure that the hour is first, and then your first and last name. And then also let's do the essay. This is essay 5. This way, when you send it to me and I do a search for it, I can always just easily find your document. Now we're going to first off format our document. So we want to go to Format, Line Spacing, and we need to make it go to double. And we're going to put our MLA heading. So we put our first name, and we put our class, which you could be either English 9, or you could be Sports Lit. The same stuff applies here. I'm still watching this for you. And then your due date was the 19th, but let's go with the 22nd. Now we want to insert our header. We're going to use that by doing a page number at the top of the page, so over here. Click your cursor to the left side of it, and then just quickly type your last name and then a space. And now at the top of each page, you will have your cursor, or your header, sorry. We also want to quickly put in here a title. Title needs to be centered. Oops. Do you notice though, that the title, once we center it, it's not going to be underlined, it's not going to be in quotation marks, it is simply going to sit there and all the major words of it are going to be capitalized. When you hit a space, we don't want the rest of our document to be centered, so we want to align it to left. Push a tab, and this is where you start with your hook, and then you just keep on typing. Okay? Do not leave additional extra white space in between each paragraph. It just fills up space and it does not count towards your page requirement. Now on your 4th page, you're going to start your Works Cited, because obviously this is the 3-page essay, but we're just going to put it on our 2nd page for now. All right, we're going to center this. It's called Works Cited. Notice how that's capitalized and centered. We do not, however, want the rest of it centered, so let's go back to align, make it align left. Fabulous. Now, let's say that you were using our database. So you want to go to our Belleville High School webpage. Remember how we did that? And then we go to Academics. Then we went to Media Center. And there we went to our MeL Databases. Our MeL Databases, the one we preferred was the Student Info Track. So HI Info Track Student Edition. We could also use the Junior Edition, so let's try the Junior Edition here a second. Now I'm doing my research and I want to find about teens and sleep. Mom? Alright, we're doing a search for teens and sleep. Teens and early 20s, that's not going to help us very much. I don't know. Teens and early 20s. I want teens and sleep. So, contain tweaks for healthier body, hitting the snooze button. Let's try this article. Now, let's say I read this article and I think, oh, this article sounds fabulous. I would love to use it. Because this is a database, it has Citation Tools right over here. So we just click that and we say, yes, I want MLA formatted. And so we just have our Works Cited entry right here. Let's highlight it, do a Control-C to copy it, and bring it back to our Works Cited page where we do a Control-V. Now, see how beautiful that is? It's not even centered. Thing though, we do need to have a hanging indent, which is kind of a crazy thing. So we try and tab over and it doesn't work. So we're like, oh, how do I get that hanging indent? We have to hit enter here, then tab over. So now we have our document properly formatted. Thing is also, I want to make sure that I have a hyperlink so I can get right back to that article if I need to. So I'm going to go back here to the Michigan Library. Oh, I'm actually going back to my document. I'm going to take this URL, not the letters URL, Control-C, and then take it back to my Works Cited page. I'm going to highlight simply the title, and then I'm going to go here to this link button. So I'm going to click on the insert link, and I'm just going to Control-V, let's see if I can do that again for you, Control-V that right into here. Now I apply, and whoosh, I have just made a hyperlink in my Works Cited page. It makes life a lot easier for the people who are reading the paper and for you when you try and prove your sources. So that's one way to do it. Now let's say that you're maybe in my other class or something, you've chosen to find an article on your very own. So teens, so I do teen sleep. All right, I don't know, maybe I want to do National Sleep Foundation, proper sleep for teenagers. That sounds like a valuable source, maybe some valid stuff. And I'm going to read this article and I think, oh, this is really helpful. I want to be able to cite it. So I highlight the URL, Control C, and then I open a new tab, and I'm going to go to easybib.com. This pops up and it says, enter your website. So I'm going to do Control V and see what they can find about that article. Oh, nice. So it has the website title, the article, the date accessed. It doesn't have the publisher, when it was published, or the authors. When it doesn't have any of those three really prime things, we have to start questioning to see, is it really a valid source? Can I really stand behind this? And so here we have this anonymously written by some contributor. There's no address, or there's no author. We don't even know when this was done. So maybe this is not necessarily a really useful source for us. Because what's going to happen is if we do it with an easy bib, like around here, and you just hit continue, you leave those things out. So we're just going to leave these major areas blank and then say, oh, whatever, I'm fine, create citation. Look how partial your citation looks. It says teens and sleep, sleep for teenagers, no publisher, no date, and then we accessed it in February, on February 11th. And I don't know why it says it's February 11th, because I accessed it obviously today, but I think we need to find a better resource. So let's do that in a second. All right, so some of the articles that we used in class I thought would be kind of a good place to go here. So this is the one, The Teen Brain is Just Not Grown Up Yet. And so if you read this one, or you remember me talking about it on the overhead, the teen brain is just not grown up yet. And we're going to use that one as a source and make a citation. So we take the URL, Control C, take it on over to EasyBib, which it looks like I've lost my EasyBib. Drop that right there by pushing Control V. Now we're going to cite it. And it goes in there and it tries to find the information. If you notice, it finds the website title, the article title, who the publisher, and the date accessed. Fabulous. We need to figure out who published it and who the authors were. So what we need to do is go back to the source and see if it identifies those things. We need to find the publisher and the author. I press continue, and you can see the author is blank, and so is the day it was published. So those are the two things we're looking for when we go back to the article. How easy is this? We have Richard Knox. He's our author. So we have Richard, capital letters all the time of names, they're proper nouns. Knox, K-N-O-X. And then the date, see the date, March 1, 2010. And that kind of fits within our time frame of being still relative. March 2010. Fabulous. Oops, probably wrong year there. 2010. Nice, let's go on down. Say create the citation. Beautiful. So I just take that with me. I highlight it, Control C. And I'm going to go back to my paper. Hit enter. I want to get right below that now. Control V. Ooh, that didn't quite work. We've got to get this back over here. There you go. And then hit tab. Ooh, that didn't work. What was I supposed to do? Oh, that's right. Hit enter. And then a tab. And now I have it. Got to double check that they're alphabetical. H does come before K in the alphabet, so that works really well for me. Now I just need to jump back there real quick a second and grab the URL so that I can make a hyperlink. I'm up here at the article, Control C again, jump on back to my Works Cited page, highlight the title, just the title. Then I go up to my link, I'm going to create a hyperlink, Control V, apply, ta-da! Now, let's say that my article didn't have an author. Well, sometimes that's true, but most of the time the author, especially if they're credible, want to be given credit for having written the article. So we have that. Now, these words, these first words of this Works Cited page are really important because those are the words I'm going to put in parentheses next to the information that I use from these articles. So let me show you. go back to my other works cited page. So if you take a look here, we have the article we used in class, we have the team brain, here's the other team brain from the Harvard magazine, here's the behavior problem one from Facts and Families that we did, so if that was yours. Still under construction. This is the one, this is your brain in adolescence. We all read this article together, the MRI one. So these articles are all here for you. I've created the works cited page, or the works cited entries for you. Feel free to use them. Only if you use information from them in your essay, though. So every works cited entry should be reflected somewhere in your essay. For instance, let's take a look. Here, my thesis is a lack of sleep affects the teenage brain much more than it does the adult brain. Fabulous. And I use a quote from Jessica Payne, an assistant professor who was quoted in that Hoffman article. What one was that, you say? That was the one about hitting the snooze button, okay, that we found on our database. So I put in the quote, I identify the speaker, I tell why in the world I should listen to her, then I put because she's an assistant professor, right? Then I put a comma, and then I put the words from her article in quotation marks. Now notice, this is Jessica Payne speaking. It's not somebody named Hoffman. Hoffman was the author, right? So I copied this in here. I put my end quotation marks. I put my parenthetical reference, which links this information to my article. So if I read that, I'm like, well, who's Jessica Payne? Where does she work? How do I know about her? I can go back and find that article for teenagers about, I would go, I'd go here and I could just click on my hyperlink and it would take me right to the article. Pretty snazzy. So inside my article, that's how I did that. Now let's say I want to kind of just summarize the whole thing that I read. Great. So here I did that here. Jilly Dos Santos is a sophomore at Rockbridge High School in Columbia, Missouri, and she decided to take action to convince her school to work with students' brains instead of against them. She made a Facebook page, talked to teachers, researched the issue, and presented to the school board. Now that's not my information. I did not make that up. That was in the article that Hoffman wrote. And so I had to give them credit. And by doing that, just by putting that parenthetical citation there, I am avoiding claims of plagiarism. Very helpful. So I just keep on going, and I can continue to do that for my whole essay. The works cited page will end up on your page 4. Then you should have 3 sources that need to be reflected within your essay as well. I would use the sources more than once. Don't just throw in some random quote that you don't understand. Make sure you understand the article, because you're trying to show us how much you understand it so that we should be convinced. And there you have it. Creating a works cited page in Google Docs with EasyBib, and then also citation tools from the MeL Databases. When you're done, you're going to want to share your essay with me or with whomever else. So that is that. Enjoy!